Hey, welcome to Bandwagon Fans, Crap on Classics. This is where we take the movies we love and just take the piss out of them. I'm Jeff.
Jason here.
And what are we watching tonight, Jason?
1960 Psycho.
It's one of the all-time great horror movies, and we are going to bash this thing like a piñata. Before we get into the mayhem, do you remember the first time you saw this movie?
Uncut, unedited, 14, bought a copy of it. Funny thing, I had seen Psycho 2 and 3 before I saw the first one in its entirety.
So I saw this, I was probably 4 or 5, eating dinner. My mom didn't care what we watched when I was a kid. The 80s were a great time to be a kid. Eating dinner on those like Formica plastic plates, whatever the hell they were. Cool little flower design on it. And during this scene, a piece of plastic chipped off and I almost choked on it. So Psycho almost killed me as a kid. However, so Psycho is one of, like we said, one of the all-time great classic horror thriller movies. Started the slasher genre.
Yeah, you know, it did. I mean, it's considered the first slasher movie. Even, I mean, the genre officially, well, you can take your pick. Black Christmas or Halloween or Friday the 13th. It all started with this movie, which was filmed years before.
Yeah. One of the greats, but it is not without its flaws.
Very slow going, but when you get to the hotel, the editing really picks up. But boy, the beginning, yeah.
So let's start off. First of all, we meet Marion Crane, and I got zero sympathy for this person. She's a thief. She's abandons her responsibilities.
She's a skeezer.
Yeah, and so we spend like 40 minutes with her, and then they go and kill her here. Now, by the time she actually does die, one, we don't care about her because she's not a sympathetic character, and they drag it out way too long. Scream did this way better. If you're going to kill the lead, do it in the first 5 minutes so that we can actually go on to somebody we care about.
That's kind of the notch that Wes Craven took Scream to from this movie. This movie, when it first came out, notorious, I mean, for the shower scene, but people were shocked that they killed the main character halfway into the movie. It was never done before.
I don't know if they were shocked so much as just pissed off that their time had been wasted. I think Wes Craven did it better. Scream did it better than Psycho, hands down. And
well,
then,
I remember watching Scream like, you know, opening weekend, and you know, people were taken aback by the fact that that beginning scene happened the way it did. That's for sure.
With Drew Barrymore getting it. Other issues with the movie. So the whole relationship. So after Marion dies, we meet her sister. And I just didn't buy their relationship. There was nothing really establishing a connection to them.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is you don't even see the sister until after Marion dies.
Yeah, after Marion dies.
It's literally like 2 movies.
We needed a scene, some kind of a scene in the beginning of the movie showing that these are 2 people that know each other and care about each other. There was a throwaway line about her sister being in Phoenix or going to Tucson, but there was nothing to build that relationship on. So by the time we meet the sister, again, who cares?
Before she even gets to the hotel, you know, taking some of the money to buy a car, you know, just you just know that this is kind of a gal that kind of just doesn't really give two S's about you know, where her life is going or what she's doing to other people, you know, at first, you know. It does kind of get into her having regrets, but first off, she gets to the hotel or the motel, the Bates Motel, and we're introduced to Norman Bates, which is pretty much the only reason to watch this film is the performance given by Anthony Perkins.
I don't think he was acting, though. I think that's just how Anthony Perkins is.
I think that's why the performance is so memorable, because you're absolutely right. The guy pretty much was typecast.
Well, and he wasn't. Was he in anything else other than the sequels?
Not anything worth mentioning, no. He was in a few other, like, lesser-known horror movies, but yeah, I mean, it was all Psycho. You know, for this guy, you know, is it pretty much like any of those people, like kind of like you don't remember Christopher Reeve doing anything else but Superman, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's because Christopher Reeve was Superman.
Well, and this guy was Norman Bates. You gotta admit, he
Not
nailed
acting. He wasn't acting.
Right.
He's just a creepy guy.
Very
That's-
interesting
that's all it
hobby,
is.
you know, the taxidermy, you know, roadkill taxidermy, you know.
So let's talk about the cinematography for a minute,
Okay.
because it was atrocious. I get it; it's the '60s. They didn't have the techniques we have now, but come on, this looked like it was a daytime soap opera.
Yeah, it kind of did. You know, it really did. It did remind me of kind of just like a scene-to-scene day in the life of like some gal on a soap.
Yeah, this was like General Hospital. The score was great.
Oh, sure.
You know, one of the all-time greatest scores.
Really gets you going. You know, with the it's a real like kind of you know exciting kind of score. You know, it moves the movie along really well. You know.
Yeah, and then so plot holes. All right, after she takes Marion Crane, she steals some money from her boss or something, yada yada. Who cares? She goes driving, and she sleeps overnight. The cop stops her, and she spends all day driving before she actually gets to Bates Motel. So this chick has been driving for a solid 24 hours, and the detective hired to find her finds her like that. That is like some Iron Man tracking down Captain America in Civil War nonsense.
Hey, you know what? After he found the signature and saw that the writing was the same, there was no doubt.
How the hell did he even find Bates Motel?
I know, it was off the freeway. Nobody was finding it, right?
But even before that, the cop mentions that, hey, there's a lot of hotels around here. So in 1 week, he hit every hotel within a 24-hour radius. Come on.
Boy, you gotta hand it to him. He really earns every cent.
Yeah, so that was just, you know, okay, fine, whatever. The cinematography was awful. The writing was pretty sloppy. They killed off the only person we might care about right away. Then they killed off the detective right away. That dude was like...
Yeah, and I mean, really, come to think of it, yeah, the sister and the boyfriend, man, I could have done without them entirely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who's the main character of this movie?
Who's the mother?
Who's the protagonist?
You know, the scene where he sees the mom up in the window to the detective, and then we finally see the mom later on in the film sitting in a rocker skeleton. What is that in the window?
That was her.
Okay, then. Can't argue with that.
He would wheel her into the window and do the silhouette just to kind of prove that his mom... So that... Okay, another plot hole. So why would he keep putting her in the window if everybody that would actually drive by thinks she's dead and then see her in the window? Like, it just...
You remember that scene in Home Alone where he put all those cutouts in the window to have him thinking
because he wanted to make him think somebody's there. He's trying to convince
Did he just have a cutout of his mom that he got photoshopped?
All right, you know what? People in the 60s were kind of stupid. This movie became the classic as it is. Like, come on. It's just retarded. So we don't buy the protagonist.
Also had people scared of drag queens, probably, right? I mean, God.
Yeah, and then the homophobia. All right? So not all cross-dressers, not all trans people are killers that are weird relationships with their moms.
I think we've come along far enough.
This probably set the LGBTQ community back 50 years.
Oh, boy.
I just did the math real quick, and yeah, 60, 70, 80, 90, 10, that's 50 years. So, yeah, everybody thinks it's a classic. It is nowhere near that, and I don't know. What would you give this movie?
Oh, boy. I gotta be honest with you. It doesn't hold up too well for me.
Not at all.
4 out of 10.
I'm giving it maybe a BB3.
A BB3.
Yeah.
Boy.
This Yeah. No more than a BB3. Maybe an R2D1.
If we're grading in robot terms, I give it an old Bob from the black hole.
Speaking of old Bob, that might be our next movie that we're going to look at.
All right.
Anyways, once again, this is Bandwagon Fans Crap on Classics. Thanks for watching. I'm Jeff.
Jason.
Get on the bandwagon.